Good, everybody. It's good to be back. Ended up taking almost about a week or so off, tackling some personal things, but should be back to my normal streaming. So Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. If I do find time for more, then of course I do get those done as well. So I do want to get to the off season as quick as possible, but we'll dive into things here in a moment. Just getting some things set up and wrapped up on my side real quick. But as far as what we got going on today, we have the Philadelphia Eagles on deck. So we'll be battling in Philly against Carson Wentz, and we'll get ready to take a look at their depth chart and kind of see what's going on for their situation at the moment. At one point, though, before the wheels fell off for them, they were kind of the go-to roster build, I would say, or at least a quick version of what you can see a franchise that turned things around would look like. Okay, almost done. And voila, there we go. All right, crunch time. So let's take a look at what we got going on. Frustrated receiver, and that's Robbie Anderson. Coach has been quite quiet for me out there on the field, and I normally wouldn't complain, but when I'm not catching passes, I don't feel like I'm helping the team. So can you get me more involved in office this week? I want to say no promises because that's realistic. I'm not interested in padding your stats. I'm interested in winning games. We have a game plan and structure in place that leverages the strength of our O-line, okay? Interesting comment since our O-line is trash. But yeah, I guess I understand. I'm just disappointed that I can't do more to help the team win. Okay, so +5 for the entire offense if we win. Robbie Anderson is unhappy with how you're using him. How can you incorporate him into your game plan? Okay, so there is a small difference between if you pick the other option then where generally receivers they want you to have like 100-yard game or 2 touchdowns, something to that effect, and I think they generally get like a little boost. Frustrated running back, so Ty Montgomery also being frustrated, and at this point it's no promises for anybody, at least when it comes to the offense. We never know how things are going to be our day, or we could have a day where we score over 200 yards rushing. X Factor, Fletcher Cox, as mentioned before. I'm just going to disregard all of those, and that way I only have to focus on winning the game, and we can get a little boost of experience. Some more scouting. We're taking a look at the top 2 ranked quarterbacks, and they look pretty good. I don't really care for scrambling quarterbacks with Madden, but it's the quickest way to boost the experience that they would get. But they normally don't have like great accuracy. But at least from what we can see with Charlie Olsen, it looks really good. He's just very small, so I would have to imagine maybe like a perfect world scenario, Russell Wilson maybe. We'll see how that pans out. But let's go back in here, scout some more players. So everything else has pretty much been defense. Defense throughout the top 10 to like 20 picks or so. So I'm gonna focus on them real quick. Okay, Garrett Downey looks good. Generally, defensive line wise, I like my linemen to be about 275, really like 285 or more. That way I don't lose so much. The capabilities to swap them from each position are a lot better if I have that kind of diversity there. trying to think. I really want to make sure I'm using all the points here. Oh, not what. It's not what I wanted, but I think I still had a. Yeah, we didn't fully scout Reggie Hooks here. We don't know any of his pass rushing moves, but I mean, as a pass coverage linebacker, he could probably be converted to the middle linebacking core for us too, if we wanted to pick him up. Let's get our weekly training in. See if we don't get another point for Quentin Williams at some point here soon, hopefully. And upgrades. So, Jamal Adams, I believe getting his first. We're just going to go ahead and run it into hybrid. +2 overall boost, which is excellent. +2 tackling, and then a little bit of recognition, press, speed, and awareness. I will take it. Sam Darnold getting a bit of development there. We're going to put it into his improviser trait. We don't see any shift there, but we do get a little bit of break sack, some better throw deep, a little throw on the run. Terrell Basham. A lot of these players, we don't know if they're going to end up sticking around and making it all the way through. So that'll be something for us to keep an eye on. Chuma luckily was one of the players that oh, that was a pretty nice boost for him. He got a little bit of development through veteran leadership in the preseason, and then we haven't really seen or heard too much of him since. We're pretty much just biding our time at this point at the moment. Okay, so we are good to go. We have a few trade offers here still. We have till week 8 to try to trade one of these players, but I do believe after this week is when we'll make a hard decision on Robbie Anderson. Um, then I'm not as concerned about trading Darrelle Revis or Jordan Jenkins. It's really going to depend on the offer. Um, but you never know. Maybe we'll get blown away. Maybe we'll get some kind of additional first round pick, something of that nature. Let's take a look at the depth chart for the Eagles real quick. And we do have Carson Wentz there, and he looks like he's doing pretty solid. His strength compared to his throwing power is a little bit odd to me. Normally, if you see like a really good strength rating, throw power is at least like a 94 or so. So that's a bit odd. Jordan Howard, though, Miles Sanders, I really liked him rookie year. They got Boston Scott and then Corey Clement, but he is injured. Algernon Brown, Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson, and Nelson Aguilar rounding the group there. And then they got the young Arcega Whiteside in the ranks. Maybe he'll get a few snaps, and then Mac Hollins as well. Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, very nasty two tight end combination there, and then Will Tye just to kind of round things out. Jason Peters, we did consider trading for him before we settled on focusing on the center position and then maybe trying to get Orlando Brown Sr. Isaac Siomalo, hopefully that wasn't butchered. Jason Kels, Brandon Brooks, and Lane Johnson. So they do have a very, very good offensive line. They'll probably be able to get a fair amount of movement in the run game. Derek Barnett there and Vinny Curry behind him. Brandon Graham. They have a young Josh Sweat there. And then Fletcher Cox, the Beast. That was the X Factor player for the week. Left side doesn't look as strong. Zach Brown in the middle, not much depth behind him. Nigel Brown, Josh Martin. And then Ronald Darby, Avante Maddox, Sid. Really wouldn't mind potentially if they don't pick up a contract for him, seeing how he develops. I wouldn't mind bringing him through. And then McLeod Jr. and Malcolm Jenkins. So, with that said, let's go ahead and dive into our fourth game of the season, coming off our bye week. And we are currently 1-2. Not a huge shock outside of the fact that we are one game ahead of where I expected us to be, and of all teams, against the Browns. That team was loaded. They didn't really come to life until the fourth quarter, and then they wanted to pour on a bunch of yards. But otherwise, they did a lot of dinking and ducking throughout the first, let's just say, like 50 minutes of the game. Very intrigued to see how this ends up going for us. Each game has been vastly different so far, so the one thing we can say is nothing's been consistent. Normally, you would take that as meaning like you have some strong days in a running game or some strong days in a passing game, and other days that's, mediocre maybe, but not for us. Completely random. Carson Wentz, just over 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, 4 picks on the season. So he's off to a pretty decent start so far. That's over a 2-to-1 ratio. We'll see how the flow of the game starts off. And they choose play action. Carson Wentz is just going to toss one out to his playmakers, let them try to do the work. It's a smart move, but really any game plan should theoretically work against the way our team is built right now. Not a lot of foundations. A lot of people I'm hoping to outperform expectations if we were to have any shot at being relevant. And they find a man over the middle. Couldn't quite get the first down. But they were... Oh, and they did give it to him. So that could be a bad omen for us. We had a lot of success in week 3, even though it was ultimately a loss, with them not getting a lot of those third and short conversions from the refs. Ooh, and we get in the backfield immediately, and 2 players with 1 tackles. One of them being Jamal Adams, which is a huge shock. He's fairly consistent in that he's either going to blow you up or he's getting you on the ground. That was a very poor play on our end, just in terms of fundamentals. Still have Perry Nickerson having a pretty significant amount of snaps with the injuries spoken about before, and Carson Wentz decides to take a handoff himself there. He'll run into Brandon Carr, but he does get a fresh set of downs and picks himself up 7 yards. So the RPOs that the Eagles playbook has is something that I was pretty intrigued by, but we just didn't have anything on offense that I felt was really going to be worth using that playbook. So once again, we are using the Atlanta playbook. Felt like it meshed a little bit more with our current quarterback's traits, kind of how what the playbook is built to do, and potentially where we may end up at. And we could have had a freebie there for a pick, but everybody has Butterfingers today. Nice run play, a little open lane, a little move there just to kind of get traffic out the way a bit. You can think of Jordan Howard as probably like a poor man's Nick Chubb a bit. Free play there basically for them. Brandon Carr just gets turned around, couldn't find his bearings, and ultimately I think it may have been a better move that we swapped him for well, basically swapped Tremaine Johnson for him in terms of veteran leadership in the core. I didn't want people absolutely dominating games in the passing department, so that's the reason I didn't opt to just keep Tremaine Johnson. Don't remember where we sent him, but I wanted to bring in somebody to kind of at least be a minor nuisance to number one receivers. You can see our continued fall of this defense is that we don't have anything in the core to really help out. And that's just due to us using more of a 4-3 to try to play to the strengths of the line. And Quentin Williams gets in for his first sack of the season. And he did quite a bit of work there in the trenches. You see him just kind of get off right away. And that was against Jason Kels. So pretty impressive. Able to kind of use his traits, some of that younger, fresher body in order to just kind of overpower and maneuver around the center there. Okay, and on back-to-back plays, we're able to get into the backfield, and it comes from rookies on back-to-back plays. Ja'Kai Polite getting in there, and he decides that he wants to get some of the hype. So far, Ja'Kai Polite is having relatively a better season. But you can see three players there that were basically ready to go and hunt, with Quentin Williams almost picking up his second sack, which would have been on back-to-back plays. So nice to kind of see that the defense came alive to keep things modest. Field goal attempt ends up not having the leg for it, so we get really good field position starting off at the 46. And Sam Darnold trolls out the offense. We'll see how we decide to start things off. We go with a passing play as well. He does connect on a slant route, and that seems to be, I think, one of the most effective plays our offense has been able to have. And that does go to Deontay Burnett, who also is filling in due to injuries and picking up more snaps than expected for himself. Ty Montgomery had to leave the week 3 game a little bit earlier, but he's back now. We'll see how effective he is. And hopefully this bodes well. Deontay Burnett, really strong first game. Very quiet second game, but he's already picked up the first 2 receptions of the day here, both on slant routes to start the game. So 2 for 28. And I wouldn't mind seeing him develop into a piece that we can bring in next season rather than being something that ultimately becomes maybe like a trade chip or gets wasted as roster talent. Delayed handoff, one of more effective plays for us as well. We only pick up 3 yards there, but, you know, due to Madden juke moves, we backtrack a bit. Probably would have been closer to 4 or 5. Not much to do there, as Ty Montgomery is still pretty much breaking even on his first 2 attempts. And we secure another set of downs while we are officially in the red zone, and that's the veteran Josh Bellamy. Now, this is where things are always going to get interesting for us, because once again, we do not have a go-to. So what kind of creativity or do we try to impose our will is going to happen down here? Empty backfield, ball gets matumbled, Sam Darnold gets ran into. Okay, opt for a running play off to the right-hand side, and you can see things were doomed to begin with from there. Blocking just did not work out well for us. Okay, opting for a pass, and we find the deep part of the end zone, and they end up tossing it out of bounds, so we will settle for a field goal. Not able to take advantage of the missed field goal by the Eagles. And this should put us up 3-0. And we do convert. One of the predictions I had for the season has not necessarily been true, although the record still reflects that we haven't done much with it. Um, we've been able to lead a few games, albeit it might only be a field goal and not necessarily always the longest amount of time either. But there haven't been very many games so far. Nice little juke there. They have a decent return. There haven't been too many games that necessarily feel like a blowout. It's been long stretches for pretty much the teams we play and ourselves where there's really a lack of points. Um, Other than that, though, I think things are, about as expected from a 1-2 team. Okay, nice little run play. Runs into the arms of C.J. Mosley there. We get a nice stop, and once again, kind of focusing on what's happening with Quentin Williams so I can kind of track his development. You can see he's getting double teamed here. Uh, he didn't get double teamed on the previous play, but he just wasn't in the right gap in order to try to make a realistic play on the ball. I'm looking to see how he might be impacting things. Ultimately, we could decide to move him back to tackle for his sophomore season or maybe later in the first. It's all going to depend on talent, as I will absolutely be trying to make the best player available approach, because we really just need an influx of any kind of talent. And Quentin Williams able to get in there in the backfield, so he'll get a tackle for loss to add to his sack that he's already had, all in the first quarter. Okay, another double team. And we make a play on the ball, and that is Brian Poole, first pick on the season, and he seemed like he pretty much just read that the whole way. He looked more like the receiver on the play than the receiver did, and that's something you always love to see out of your defensive backs. So we'll take over at the 33, hoping to see if maybe we can convert some more points. Empty backfield, we duck it off towards the middle, pick up some easy gains there. And that will be an end to the first quarter. Jets up 3-0. Eagles at home. Maybe they'll be able to make adjustments. Maybe the Jets can, quote unquote, keep their foot on the gas. Little play action. We hold on to the ball too long. Sam Darnold must not have seen anything that he liked downfield. That's been the trouble with the play action for us. Nobody, of course, is respecting the run game, but even when keep in mind Sam Darnold's not the best intermediate thrower. And aside from that, it just really takes a while or a breakdown in coverage for our receivers to get open down the field. You see C.J. Mosley giving the young Quentin Williams a little bit of dap and respect for his performance so far. All right, and we get an overthrow there that could have been Deontay Burnett's third connection with Sam Darnold, although I highly doubt we're going to be able to secure ourselves a first down with 4 defenders in the area that could have made plays on the ball. So far, I kind of like the balance of the game, though. Definitely vastly different from when I've kept the superstar and zone abilities on. I think you still get a feel for the players that are supposed to be dominant at their position, um, but there's nothing extremely overwhelming. So far, Carson Wentz not having the day that he probably envisioned himself having. 44 yards on the day and a pick. Nice run and play there. Quentin Williams in for another tackle. Right, 3rd and 5, and they find the middle of the field, and who else but one of his favorite targets, Zach Ertz, to pick up the conversion. Brandon Bryant looks like he's been getting a little bit more time at safety as well, as he has 2 tackles on the day. He's kind of an interesting player. If he was he has pretty decent physical traits. I don't think there's enough skill wise technically in terms of like his coverage traits and things for us to really say that we can kind of develop him in the wings. A player like that I really missed, he was really underrated, but I always had a lot of fun with him in Madden, was Antonio Allen. At one point when we did have him, as Philly gets an injury to Jordan Howard there, and they were already down a halfback in Corey Clement, so they're really relying on Miles Sanders now, and I can't remember who the third string was for him, and Howard doesn't look like he'll be back this game, heading to the locker room with a limp. Carson Wentz settling for the flats, and that has been an area where we've been pretty effective. I think we definitely could have had a few opportunities in quite a number of games. But Brian Poole making the stop there. That would have been a pick six potentially, too. It looked like nothing but open grass. I think something fun I would like to see is depending on what we've seen, of course, in real life from some of these players, or maybe from the college games, if we're considering rookies, um, how aggressive the quarterback may be, like chasing down a defender if there's a pick. Sam Darnold's had a number of highlight plays for, lighting up some people. Punters would be fun too. Braden Mann's kind of gotten himself in quite a number of uniforms from the other team. And Sam Darnold actually finds himself a pretty solid strike there. And this is Quincy Enunwa, this time grabbing his first reception for the day. Nice strike out to the corner. You can see they were having a little bit of a hard time with him. Quincy was definitely got kind of that hybrid build. Could have been a tight end, could have been a wide receiver. Really do a lot with him depending on your creativity in the playbook. So far, Ty Montgomery is still yet to get any positive yardage. Okay, out to the flats just to get a little something, and we're able to secure 5 there. Now, Ty Montgomery doesn't need a whole lot, as we witnessed in week 3. Almost 200 yards on less than, I believe it was like 11 carries. We end up turning the ball over on downs as we weren't able to run to try to convert a 3rd and 5. So bold play choice. But this is where you kind of got to need to know your team. And I don't actually mind the approach that like the Bengals took, which I wouldn't mind us taking to some degree, where just let Sam Darnold keep airing it out, getting that experience. Even if he throws a ridiculous amount of interceptions or something, every one of those passes helps. And somebody had to get a hand on that ball. We dinked something, but Catanzaro shouldn't be kicking anything further than like from the 30, maybe the 32. Anything beyond that has been extremely short, so we'll definitely be in the kicker market as well by the end of the season. All right, Carson Wentz throws a strike. They'll be at the 31. That's Deshaun Jackson picking up a fresh set of downs right away. Oh, strike deep. Wasn't quite able to convert, but he finds his man Deshaun Jackson once again. And that was very close to being a touchdown strike. So they are first and goal at the 1 yard line. Luckily, I can't tell who number 20 was there. But between Brian Poole and that has to be one of our safeties, we're able to drag him down anyhow. So let's see if we can continue to push them off from scoring a touchdown. Carson Wentz just has to throw this one out of bounds, feeling a little bit of that pressure. They opt for a play action, and he strikes to the middle. Zach Ertz connection. That is a touchdown, and they will officially take over the lead with about half of the second quarter done and over with. We'll see if we can fancy ourselves another drive down the field and at least get ourselves maybe a field goal to stay in the game. You see CJ Mosley give him a little love tap there at the end just to let him know he is still present. Extra point attempt seals the deal, and we will be waiting on seeing what our starting position is going to be. Okay, we try to make a move. We will start off from the 29, and we will see how far we are able to drive. We're going to have any hope as we continue to go, though. We definitely need a little bit of a better presence in the running game, at least somehow. Play action. Sam Darnold taking a shot. Robbie Anderson was the target, and Nigel Bradham actually happens to come up with the ball. So, wrong set of green colors there being targeted by Darnold. But they read that one pretty much through and through. So the Eagles are going to have a great spot to try to secure themselves another touchdown. Play action themselves. Wentz is taking a shot. Almost made the connect. Okay. They try to attack the flats. Jamal Adams all over that as well as they drag him down really quick. And we hold them off to not being able to get any points off of the interception. So nice stand by the Jets defense. They will opt to punt. And the punter shanks it a bit, but they are still able to lock us in at the 15. So they can try to pin their ears back a little bit and attack us, at least knowing that they have a little bit of a lead. They don't necessarily have to worry about any big plays based on their performance so far. Okay, finding a target over the middle, and that's Chris Herndon muscling his way to about an 11-yard gain. Some empty backfields. You see Sam Darnold try to throw a little bit of a midsection pass there. He connects with Josh Bellamy again. And so far things are spread out just a bit. And Ty Montgomery gets his first positive yards on the night. 4-yard gain, 5 rushes though. And we can't help ourselves, shoot ourselves in the foot a little bit. We get a false start, pushes us back 5 yards. Okay, we find a nice connection there. And we might be getting into a little bit of a groove. That's Chris Herndon again. And he takes that, kind of gets himself a little cut, and decides to fall forward, trying to make the most of every little bit of yardage. And you can see there, I believe that was Josh Bellamy. He was able to chip in a little bit of a block. Okay, another running play. We try to fall forward. Once again, though, we return to not netting any kind of positive yardage. This time Montgomery goes down pretty much right away. We find someone open over the middle. And that is Elijah Mcguire. 3rd reception on the night. And he's had some pretty good success during the season so far being targeted. I did mention from the get-go, I felt like he had a pretty good 3rd down running back potential, probably more of a weapon in the receiving game than a threat in the running department. That seems to be standing true so far, so kind of like our own version of James White. And we opt to attack the flats there as well. Not much success. 2-minute warning. We will be running our 2-minute offense now as we start from the 41. Empty backfield, targeting the left side of the field. He delivers himself a strike, and that is Deontay Burnett with his 3rd reception of the night. So 3 for 34. And you can see the coverage might not be airtight, but there hasn't been too many big plays for a reason. They're either right there or they've been making the plays on the ball that they need to make. Third and 4. And we've been having a little bit of success underneath right in the middle of the field. So far, just kind of trusting Elijah Mcguire to make the plays, use his playmaking ability, and it's been working for us. It's been working, kind of like a lot of little chip block situations there. Okay, we decide to take a look at the right side of the field. We end up coming away with 3 quick yards there. A little bit of a breather. Let's go ahead and get back to the field. And so far, this hasn't felt like much of a 2-minute offense. The pace and everything has been actually relatively chill. Interesting approach. And Sam Darnold able to find Anderson for his first reception of the night off to the left side on a comeback route. Once again, targeting the left side of the field. And this is why I chose not to say that we were definitely going to do anything. Because for one, with the sim, you never know. You never know. But two, him and Robbie Anderson just aren't really syncing in Madden like they've shown to do in real life. We do get knocked out of the red zone with that sack, although we are at least still in field goal territory. Sam Darnold taking a shot. He does connect with Herndon. It is not enough as the Eagles decide to take a timeout, recover themselves. Hopefully we secure us at least a field goal here. So we walk into the locker room only down 1 point. And we do secure it. So we'll see how aggressive the Eagles want to be here. They have had a little bit of success attacking us already. So maybe they can, squeeze off a big play. Maybe have a good return. And we aren't going to see a return. So hopefully it's just a couple running plays, and then we will both be in the locker room hoping to make some adjustments to secure a victory. And they are opting to pass, so they might have been taking the aggressive approach as we see someone streaking right up the sideline. And is that Dallas Goedert? No, that was actually Zach Ertz. Okay, thought I seen 88 potentially. So Zach Ertz, bad angle there, and he's just able to streak and pick himself up a pretty easy 16 yards after the catch. So already about halfway. They didn't even have to waste a timeout on it. Middle of the field. They do secure the reception. They do opt to timeout. And they might have figured out a way to at least squeeze themselves out of field goal before the end of the first half. Oh, miscommunication there as he did have a quick, easy check down. Okay, little maneuvering in the pocket takes a little bit too long, and I believe that was Quentin Williams getting in there for his second sack of the day. So 2 sacks in the first half, and he's had 1 or 2 tackles for loss already as well. And this is a very, very strong offensive line. So this is good to see from him. Okay, we opt to run. Jalen Moore there, and that takes us to halftime where we are down 7-6. Eagles in the driver's seat, but Jets definitely still well in control of their destiny today. And seeing if they'll reach the 500 mark or not. And we get a whopping 10 yards in the rushing department. Very, very big concern for us as we progress throughout the season. And we see the Patriots matching up against the Redskins, so far undefeated and beating the Redskins pretty handily. Le'Veon Bell seemed to be a good addition there for them, and we also provided them Avery Williamson. He seemed like he was doing solid. Buffalo not having the best game so far against an undefeated, an unwinning Titans team. They seem to be struggling a bit, maybe with turnovers. It seemed like Josh Allen himself wasn't doing too bad. And Nick Foles leading the way for the Jags. currently up against the Panthers, but Cam Newton's having himself a day. Let's get back to the field as we will be receiving the ball in the beginning of the first half. We'll see what kind of adjustments we made to have more success in the second half of this game. Okay, first running play of the night, and that's what we're talking about. Ty Montgomery was able to break himself free there, and he picked himself up quite a good amount of yards. I want to say that was maybe 14 or so. And once he can find a hole, he definitely is capable of taking advantage. The entire problem is that he's not really getting many of those. Makes me definitely considering maybe taking advantage of the contract that we have him on and seeing if with a better offensive line cast if he can't do some real damage. Just based on the glimpses that I have seen from him. And Trent McKinnon gets his first attempt on the night here. Little play action. Sam Darnold has all day. We end up just settling for a quick pass to the flats. Okay, play action again. This time Darnold able to see something a little bit sooner, but it does not work out as Maddox there is able to secure himself an interception on the night. So that makes number 2 for Darnold. And not looking so good when he's pressed a little bit, or maybe tried to hit a read sooner than expected. It's come back to bite him so far. Nice creative little bit of play calling there, and that's Miles Sanders. First rush of the night. He picks up 11 yards right away. And this could be definitely a little bit of a stressor for our team here. He does have some speed to him, and his game's definitely much different than what Jordan Howard is. All right. You can see him getting an opportunity in a passing game. So definitely need to keep an eye on him at all times. He has home run ability for sure. He has some receiving skill. And as he develops over time, he's definitely going to be a huge problem for the league in the NFC over there. Chip block. Chip block is crazy. Nelson Aguilar getting a catch in the backfield, though, and Jordan Jenkins was able to get all over that play. And that's what we need to see more of. We just need to worry about the fundamentals, having sound success. Everything else will come from there. And there's been a few miscommunications between Carson Wentz and some of his receivers towards the end of the second quarter and the start of the third quarter here. Few accuracy issues. This game, a little bit more realistic, I feel like. You've seen Carson Wentz there was about 15 for 26, I believe it was, maybe 27. We're going to start things off from the 25 here. 152 yards, 2 interceptions, 18 of 24 for the young Darnold. We opt for a running play, and so far, in just the 2 plays from the second half, much, much better success. What the change has been, I'm not entirely sure. Seems like maybe we're just recognizing where our holes may be a little bit better. I can see everybody kind of shifting to one side as soon as we snap things. Trenton Cannon's able to pick 5 up there. Okay, took a little bit. Ultimately, we settled for the check down, and that happens to be Robbie Anderson. We do get the conversion, though. So far, the start of the third quarter is looking like what I expected maybe the no-huddle offense towards the end of the second to look like. Seems like we definitely have a little sense of urgency here, and Elijah Mcguire tries to make a move. Gets rammed a little bit, but he does pick up 5 yards. All right, Jenkins, he gets himself a sack with that little bit of a delayed blitz there. It's the one thing I would say I don't necessarily care about with Darnold. So you can see he gets the ball, probably recognizes the coverage, turns his back, and he tries to release one really quick, but just doesn't work out that way. But he definitely has a paranoid sense of pressure being around him at all times, which I would not blame him. But he's got to get rid of some of those bad habits if we're going to continue to have any kind of success with him. I'm sure the whispers of what our potential moves in the offseason are going to be are definitely in the back of his mind, with the 2 top 10 quarterbacks being on the board. So he might be pressing just in hopes that he shows us enough stuff to say that we'll stick with him and build around him rather than just bringing in any talented pieces overall. Once again, we try way out of the range of what our kicker is able to do. This is another thing with Madden I think needs to be changed. I don't mind them taking risk at certain points, but you would have to think and truly believe that you're not going to see too many teams just allowing people to rip it from the 42. Carson Wentz connecting off to the left there. And that's Alshon Jeffrey potentially getting only his first reception of the game as well. Okay, run play, straight up the middle. Miles Sanders kind of shrugging number 20 off there. He picks himself up 23 yards so far in just his second carry. Oh, that is Marcus May. Why am I thinking that May wears like 28 or something like that? So Marcus May, he's been having he's had a little bit of a dismal game so far. He will be able to kind of win back a little bit of respect tonight. That seemed like it was a little bit of a lucky pass, but that could have been potentially really terrible for us as well. So he did have a blocker right in front of him. Miles Sanders picking up a block. Very good play there for him. And another connection with Zach Ertz as they are in the red zone. 6 receptions, 60 yards for Ertz. He does have a touchdown already, and that extra second bought the time that they needed to secure the play that's been made. Jamal Adams trying his best to, make his own plays. He's cracking people left and right. Defense getting ready. Kind of discuss pending, a touchdown here, how they're going to try to get their offense back on the field as quick as possible. Another running play. Miles Sanders shifting a few things. He picks up 7 yards. And so far, he's 3 for 30 on the night. Blake Cashman getting in there. We are definitely going to be making a move with our starter there as Miles Sanders almost picks up his first touchdown of the night on a nice spin move. He gets stopped just short. Blake Cashman, kind of liked him from a stat standpoint as there's a huge overlook there, but his target was open. I like Blake Cashman, like some of his physical traits, but He definitely was not ready to start. We get a stop here. So maybe we can have a little bit more production with like a Harvey Lange that's in there. Give him a little bit of uptick in playing time while Blake Cashman sits and kind of watches a little bit more. Maybe he'll learn a little bit more from observing than actively playing, where he's kind of getting overwhelmed on a play-by-play basis. And they have a misfire for the first play in the red zone. The second play, we're able to come, and then ultimately they secure the touchdown, and you can see that they just pretty much walked that one in. Nelson Aguilar there, he gets his first touchdown of the night, and the Eagles put another 7 on the board to make it 14-6. We are still well within the game, but we definitely need to try to make something happen again. Otherwise, things could potentially get out of hand from here on out. Okay, trying to make a move. Looked like he might have been able to shrug somebody off there for a second, but we get to the 29. Offense is going to return maybe one or two plays to make before we start the fourth quarter. Play action. Sam Darnold looks like he's holding on to it too long. Tries to force another pass, and that is an interception. Maddox all over Quincy Enunwa. And they pretty much have Sam Darnold's number this game. That's 3 interceptions for him on the night. You can tell in his body language, he is not happy. Facing the same thing every franchise quarterback that came to the Jets before him has potentially faced, where he probably feels like he has to do too much himself. Okay, Eagles only run one play. They do pick up 6 yards, and that will take us to the fourth quarter. 14-6. Eagles already in our territory due to an interception, and they've been in their bag of playbook tricks as well. Um, Interesting mix of things going on. You can see Perry Nickerson's stats for the night there. Nothing dramatic, nothing crazy. We're just trying to get him experience at this point to hopefully develop into a nickel starter for us, if not maybe a number 2. And he hasn't had any splash plays or anything yet. He's just been kind of trying to get by based on some of the teams that we've faced. 3rd and 7. Coverage looked to be pretty tight. Brandon Carr there, but they secure the catch anyways. Alshon Jeffrey, 2nd reception on the night, and it's a critical one for them to try to put the game away. Dropping back, pretty deep step. And I believe we have holding that is going to be coming back. That was Jason Peters there. One of the few very minor mistakes that he's probably going to make over the course of a game. They opt to run. Quentin Williams there right away, right along with Marcus May. And yeah, Quentin Williams has been having himself a game. I'm pretty impressed with them. Once again, this is not an offensive line that, still developing. They got a pretty fair amount of stalwarts on the line, so Carson Wentz was pretty much able to get the majority of those yards back that they lost. It's a 3rd and 1 as they are just short. Let's see what they try to do to pick it up. They opt for a run play option, or a run pass option, excuse me. And they do not give it to Carson Wentz. I definitely thought the ball passed the line of scrimmage there and secured himself a first down, but he gets stuck between two players trying to battle it out. Ironically, two block for him. And you can see it there. It looks like he definitely crossed two. So they decide not to challenge it. They go for a field goal instead. So they should be up 17-6 here, and they are. So interesting decision by the Eagles. Another thing that maybe, Madden needs to work on. But overall, really surprised that they didn't challenge that and try to get themselves a fresh set of downs to put this away. But they're probably comfortable being up 11 points. There hasn't been a whole lot of things to feel threatened about during this game so far by us. All right, another pass over the middle for us. Now, I chose this playbook to try to play to the strengths, although you can't really consider them strengths for our team. You just have to consider them like the best chances of success to look like a decent offense, which would be attacking with a lot of short passes, you know, when play action comes up, some deep shots, things like that. Pretty standard. So we don't convert here, so we got a decision to make. Are we going to try to go for it, or are we going to hope the defense can put the ball back in our hands? But pretty standard stuff in terms of, why we chose this playbook. And I don't want to say it's coming back to bite us, but you can see how this will make a 16-game season feel like it's dragging out. At this point, it would almost feel better if they just ran slants like, every 3 plays. That seems to be one of our most effective options at the moment, which is not necessarily sad, but if you don't have, more go-tos, that's not really helping anybody. Play action, and just like that, they were able to secure themselves quite a bit of yardage there. But there was a fumble. I can't tell if it actually looked legit or not. Let's see the replay. And yeah, that is not a realistic fumble. It's caused by CJ Mosley. You can see that he is down. The knee's hit before the ball comes loose. No need to see this again. We know what's going to happen. The Eagles will get the ball back. And they will proceed from 36 with trying to put the nail in the coffin. Nice effort by Miles Sanders. He was able to still keep it positive, although I did think we might have had him for a minute there before that last little shifty juke. Okay, a little bit of movement from Carson Wentz. He's ultimately able to find his man. Sean Jeffrey coming alive a little bit more here late in the game. You can see the yardage totals aren't vastly different. 242 versus 204, I believe it was. They've just been able to execute. That's the name of the game. 3 turnovers. They haven't been able to make the most of those turnovers at all, but they're doing what they need to do to secure themselves a victory. We have not been able to say the same. Pass to the flats. There was a decent amount of open field there for Nelson Aguilar to try to just roam free. We need to be cautious this late in the game. I know we still probably have the thought concept in our minds that we can win, but it seems like we might be getting a little lackadaisical here. Run play. Miles Sanders just kind of doing as he pleases with these runs up the middle. He's been able to dance around quite a bit. Another run play. This time we are all over it, and that is CJ Mosley trying to impose his will. 10 tackles for loss on this season already. Third and 10. Carson Wentz looking. We secure ourselves another interception, and this time is Brandon Carr. This may be his first interception of the season, I believe, if this stands. And CJ Mosley gets hit with defensive pass interference to basically nullify everything good that just happened for us there. Finding a man over the middle. And this Zach Ertz connection is starting to get out of hand. He is 3 yards away from a 100 touchdown day, and he has had a touchdown on the night already. Red zone, 15 yards to go. First and 10. They run it. We strip the ball. And CJ Mosley might be taking this one to the house. And this is the play that we needed to try to shift momentum. And we do. We get a huge fumble return for touchdown there. Miles Sanders wasn't able to keep it as secure as he needed to. And CJ Mosley lets them see the colors as he burns the Jets. And helps us secure hopefully 8 points here. We can convert this PAT or 2-point attempt, excuse me. Sam Darnold wiggling himself out of one sack, falling to another, and to cap it all off, we end up getting a holding. So we're down 5, but the game definitely feels like we have an opportunity to try to get involved in it again. And this is something, unfortunately, we're going to have to really rely on the defense for. Try to do something, to help set our offense up in good position, and we just got to keep fingers crossed. Carson Wentz, he ended up turning his day around and making the most of it. Meanwhile, the few mistakes they have made have kept things close. And Leonard Williams just shedding a sack there. Shedding a block and put himself in position to try to succeed. We essentially get in the backfield. Let's just consider it a stop. Second and 10. They're just trying to work on the clock at this point. Nice little jet sweep play there. And that's Nelson Aguilar trying to make something happen. He picks up 3. They might run this down to the 2-minute warning. So this is crunch time for us. We'll see if we can stop them from converting. If not, then that may be a game. Bunch formation for them. Carson Wentz is going to try to throw it. He has some success. He hits the middle of the field, but Zach Ertz was not able to get there. He does, however, end up going over 100 yards for the night now with that last reception. But as we mentioned, the refs have not been kind to them. So 4th and inches. We will be starting things off from the 20. Let's see if Sam Darnold or one of our playmakers can't be the hero for the night. This is a touchdown or go home situation. Right, things start off well so far. We connect with Deontay Burnett again. Some play action shots. We take a shot deep down the field. That's Robbie Anderson. We do connect on a rare play there. Sam Darnold so far making all the right smart decisions. Things are falling in place. 31 yards to go, 44 seconds. And Sam Darnold is just slinging darts out here right now. We take a timeout to sit and consider how we want to try to secure these last 24 yards with 31 seconds to go. Rolling off to his left. Once again, he kind of gets away with one there as he turns his back to the defense and just barely has time. We waste our last timeout since we could not get out of bounds. And we will have to make the last 21-yard trek without any touchdowns. Timeouts. Good Lord. We end up with a sack and Brandon Graham there ending the game. We fall to 1-3 after this game here. We did have a few bright spots though. Brian Poole, CJ Mosley with his touchdown. Elijah Mcguire a little bit in the passing game, I guess. But ultimately nothing to really write home about, but let's check out the stats. So 4 picks overall on the day for both quarterbacks. However, Carson Wentz was able to kind of make up his with 2 pay dirt throws. Taking a look at our end of things, Ty Montgomery ultimately able to finish at least with 4 yards per carry. Everyone else not necessarily being involved a whole lot, as we did have to throw quite a bit tonight. Elijah Mcguire leading away with receptions. He comes away with 54 yards on the night. Deontay Burnett having a more effective game just in terms of being involved. Chris Herndon, Robbie Anderson, a big connection there towards the end. And so far, our number 1 and number 2 receivers kind of disappearing for us. 2 sacks by Harrison, Compton allowing 1. Mosley, Carr, Nickerson leading the way. Jordan Jenkins got in there quite a bit, although that is slightly misleading with all the flats that the teams have been throwing to so far. May getting in there, Williams, Q, and Polite get aboard, get some stats padded in the sack column, and then Brian Poole with an interception for the night. So pretty much as our normal ritual goes, we'll end things here a little bit by of course proceeding into the next week after we check some things, and we'll take a look at that trade offer for Anderson, as well as if we might be able to finally make something happen with Orlando Brown Sr. But we do have some development. Quincy and Nunwa here. Let's go ahead and continue to get the route runner abilities put up on him. +2 awareness, 1 to catch in traffic, medium, short route, and spec catch. Quentin Williams finally getting himself another one. He is probably 2 or 3 games away from finding out his hidden development. Let's go ahead and continue to add to the power rusher. +1 power moves, +1 tackle, so nothing crazy there. But every little bit helps for sure. Let's get Deontay Burnett some route running. +1 agility, 1 for deep route, 2 for medium, and a stiff arm. Probably could have left his as block shedding for if we moved him to defensive tackle. He does have the body size for it. Robbie Anderson not feeling it. So between him being frustrated, the offense, everything, it just seems like the perfect storm to, essentially try to move on from him. All right, so let's advance a week. Take a look at some of these offers. See if we can't conduct the trade of the season And then we'll get prepped for the Cowboys. Weekly award, though. CJ Mosley is showing up again. I believe this is his second time. Yep. For his 8-tackle fumble return touchdown performance. Breakout player opportunity, Christopher Herndon. He's been able to bring in quite a few receptions, so his goal is going to be 2 touchdowns or 100 yards receiving. That might be a bit much to ask. X Factor quarterback, so Byron Jones for the Cowboys. And for the offense, Ezekiel Elliott. So we know the Browns offense was supposed to be potent and how things worked out there. Maybe we'll have similar luck with the Cowboys. Fingers crossed. Jamison Crowder will be returning from injury, so that's kind of good news with the prospects of us moving on for Robbie Anderson. And we can get a 3rd next year, a 5th this year, a 4th and a 6th this year, a 3rd. We can get a 2 in 2021 again. I think I'm kind of liking the 4th and the 6th, actually. A 3rd and a 7. A 3rd and 7 or a 4th and a 6th. Maybe we go with the Seahawks offer. Yeah, let me see about the Seahawks here. So Robbie Anderson will go over there to link up with them. Darrelle Roberts has an offer. 5th and a 7th. And then Jordan Jenkins also has an offer. A 4 and a 5. Can't really afford anything in the linebacking core, but let's take a look first at a potential injury. See if the Ravens have anybody that they're hurting to have. So far, still so good for them. As far as trades go, our picks are improving a little bit with so maybe it'll still make some of these offers a bit more enticing. We were really close at one point where I know for them, yeah, okay. So they shot back up a little bit. At one point they had a higher pick than we did. All right. I know they still want Mosley. They may still want Williams. Let me just see what the second here does again real quick. I'd rather not give both of them up. What do they need still? A middle linebacker, a center, a right outside linebacker. I doubt they'll still have any interest in Polite. Quarterback, right end. Definitely not getting Williams, but I can give you the other one. Let's see what that first next year does potentially. I really don't want to give up the first this year. That might be what it takes though. It looks pretty close. Still just out of range. Okay. I know that we might have to play around with that combination. I know Adams was another highly rated pick there. Okay, what does this look like? No, that might have even been a small decline in interest. Okay. Uh, Maybe Adams, Williams in the first. We are so close. Maybe it needs to be like a top five pick. Um, we don't even have enough experience to boost the interest, master trade negotiation. Yeah. So maybe after this game, potentially in like a week or two, if we can get that, we might get just the little boost that we need um, in order to make that play that trade happen. One of the things we do need to do really quick though, depth chart wise, we're gonna go ahead and sit Cashman down a bit. And I do want to give Harvey Lengi a try. And then we need to bring somebody up from the practice squad. Now, okay, route running's not the best for him, but he's pretty solid in other areas. We do get a development with Williams. He kind of has a little bit better size and a little bit better all-around game. Okay, so Chad Williams is going to come up from the practice squad for us. Gets to come in with a little bit of quick experience boost there as well, which is nice. Puts us back at 53, and we will take a look at scouting and everything again next week. So appreciate you guys waiting. Apologies for the delay once again. Uh, But quick recap, I will be still streaming at this point consistently again, or should be Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and Sundays. I'll also be looking to continue the Dragon Age Inquisition series. So if you haven't peeped that yet, definitely check that out. I'm also feeling a little bit nostalgic again, so I will either be posting Spyro Trilogy maybe, or I'll be jumping on the Ratchet and Clank series since it's been forever since I've been able to play that. But definitely loved it quite a bit. So with that said, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, peace.